Everyone, welcome all of you 96,000 star seeds, light workers and wanderers to this session. And in today's session, I have channeled the Pleiadians in order to answer the queries which many of you had wanted to know. The first query which I have asked is about how will the life in a fourth density or a fifth dimension planet look like? How will we live in a fourth density planet? What will we do? What kind of activities are expected to be done in a fourth density planet? All of this is answered in today's session, and it will blow your mind, okay? Like, this was amazing. And the other thing is, I want to say thank you to all of you who asked the question about, many of you had emailed me recently wanting to know about the effectiveness of something known as tithing, wherein tithing, or people sometimes call it, I think it's called sadaka in other language terms, wherein people, they actually, what they do is they give a portion of their income to charity. And then, the question was, whether it is an effective method of multiplying your wealth. So I have asked the answer to this, and also, they have described, how the matter is multiplied in the universe. So in this you will also find explanation which may have a lot of like quantum mechanics kind of thing, which I'll explain to you towards the end of the video. And with that being said, towards the end of the session, they also describe a method of overcoming fear. I want to say thank you to all of you who have joined me on the Patreon, because we are doing a meditation to protect our planet on the 30th of October. The other thing is, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for liking the video, as it helps to reach out to other star seeds just like us. So I hope you've enjoyed this. So enjoy the session, my friends.
We are the Pleiadians, and we now communicate through this instrument's vibratory sound complex for the purpose of aiding the human collective consciousness at this time to understand about the queries which have been placed today. However, it is vitally important for the people of your planetary sphere to use your own inner discernment when listening to our thought forms, as this will aid the understanding of the nature of reality, which is dependent upon the perceptions of the entity based upon its inner understanding may be different from another entity's perception. Furthermore, discernment is advised when listening to our thought forms. The first query pertains to: what is it like to live in the fourth density or the fifth dimension? We, as the Pleiadians, shall now address that. This query pertains to the understanding of life in the fourth density, which may be composed and understood greatly by firstly realizing that fourth density is comprised of love in each action. Each action which the entity makes in the fourth density is composed of love and compassion, which means that whenever an entity is interacting with another in the fourth density planetary sphere, there is no need for any type of self-service, but a type of service to other situation, which eventually leads to a situation of win-win. As known by your people, this type of distortion is primarily combined with a greater effort of understanding that the fourth density life cycle or the fifth dimensional life cycle is but a type of creation wherein many entities will objectify the ability of creating reality. These entities who are of the fourth density vibration are at the level of the vibration of love. Hence, they have the ability of creating anything they desire by focusing their intention on the thought forms of the desire, and by sending love to such a desire, the entities are able to bring forth those desires through space-time, and the materialization of such aspects will happen anytime and anywhere as desired. This means that there will be no need for any of the entities upon your planetary sphere to work or to actually learn the lessons as the people of your planets currently do. To learn the workings of society will not be required in this level of fourth density consciousness, as the fourth density consciousness also will automatically bring forth the energy vibration of creation, which means that entities will be able to create their desires by focusing on love and their thought forms. This will also lead to the ending of the cycle of learning as known by your people in your so-called schools, as the schools which will be present in the fourth density consciousness may be considered as the schools of spiritual vibration understanding, and this is a type of training system for all those entities of a fourth density vibration to understand how to shed the ego minds and instead shift into the higher frequencies or the elevated levels of consciousness which allow the fourth density conscious vibration to emanate. Furthermore, there may be also other frequencies of higher nature, which is the path of moving upwards into the fifth density consciousness, and the lessons which are learned in the fourth density primarily involve the lesson of balancing the aspect of love, since the overgiving of love will lead to the ending of the entity being feeling used by another entity. Therefore, the balancing of the love is learned primarily at the fifth density level. In the level of fourth density, therefore, in the beginning stages, the energy body will begin to restructure, and there will be a restructuring of the cellular memories, which means that the old energy vibrations and templates that have been installed in your cellular memory based upon your societal exposure and exposure to other entities since your childhood will allow the old patterns to be released. And these old patterns, once released, will allow your energy vibration or a system to affect and allow a higher fifth dimensional frequency of the fourth density to arise, and this will allow the entity to have the ability of a higher vibration, which will aid the entity to recognize vibration of others, and the true feelings of all entities will be found by this aspect, as no longer there can be deceit in the fourth density. Consciousness will become the most valuable currency, as consciousness is the creative aspect which is within all beings and entities who are learning the lessons. Furthermore, this will also allow the creation of understanding of soul memories, and also many entities of a similar vibration will find themselves understanding of their past life connections, which this will also allow themselves to heal their past by forgiving such entities and healing the subconscious portions of the belief systems, which are primarily their main activators are the creators of healing within the self. This will also create a sense of inner peace. This peace will allow the love vibration to transition into the higher levels and will allow the free will of many other entities to be exchanged in the form of energy vibrations. In the fourth density consciousness, there will also be many of the so-called systems as known by a people as the system of language will soon begin to transition and fade into the aspect of vibration communication or telepathic communication, much like the so-called as known by your people as in your scientific language terms as quantum entanglement communication, which will become the main factor or the main system of communication in the fourth density planetary sphere. Furthermore, the feelings that you'll feel within yourself in the fourth density consciousness will be completely of love, and this vibration of love will allow you to affect other entities also in a joyful and loving manner. Furthermore, this will guide you to make better choices and also will teach you how to handle your emotional and mental complexes more better. Further, in the fourth density life cycle, there will be no need for the aspects as referred to by your people as the need of desires, as the desires upon your planetary sphere are the main reason why many entities find themselves in situations of negative nature, which is the result of the desire leading to psychological suffering. In the higher level of vibration of love of the fourth density, there will be no desires as such, and desires for the lowering of your understanding and dependency on the outside world completely is removed. Which means that many of your entities who enjoy the outward third density pleasures will find themselves not being interested in such aspects as the vibration of the planets shifts into the fourth density. Fourth density life cycle is also but a lesson in sharpening the self. And the main challenge will be to understand how to balance between the aspects of giving love to others and also the wisdom of realizing that too much love to others may not be a great idea. Further, this is the main lesson which is to be learned in the fourth density or the fifth dimension as known by your people. To gain the wisdom and understanding of fifth density, to balance the aspect of love. Furthermore, we as the Pleiadians shall now address the other portion of the query, which pertains to the aspect of, is the aspect of as known by the people as giving to others, as practiced in many of your so-called religious traditions, an effective way of multiplying your wealth and abundance. We must state that we shall address this query by our understanding of how the universe operates. Furthermore, the universal complex in the current space-time experience of your planetary sphere has the basic requisite of an observer or a consciousness stream, which has to observe the reality to be created. This can be found and observed by many of your scientists in the field of study known as quantum mechanics, wherein an observer or consciousness entity is required to observe a particular wave for it to collapse into a state of matter. Furthermore, this means that if the observer or the number of observers are increased, this means that if an entity who gives a portion of its so-called object, like money or any other object, to a second entity who is also may observe it, and then the second entity also uses the object and gives it to someone else, this will allow the origination of the particle from which it originated to replicate themselves into a similar state of compounded nature, which means that if an entity were to give 10 amounts of your monetary vibration in your timeline to a second entity, the observation of the second entity will allow it to multiply into 20, and the observation of the third will allow it to multiply into 30, and so on. The number of observers it is given to will allow the matter and the particles of the matter to receive the signal that it is multiplied. Therefore, the messages then return back, and space-time transition of information occurs, which means that the particles, they are able to travel back in time-space and move backwards, and the person or the entity which started the giving will find itself with the multiplied effects of this aspect. Furthermore, this is how the multiplication of matter can be done. This also means that the origination of a particle is remembered by the Akashic records, which has the memory of the universe and can remember where the particle of matter originated from. This will allow the field of consciousness to remember where the particle is returning, and once the particle returns back to the original giver or the observer or the entity whom started the giving will find itself in a state of, or where an event of the receipt of the desired multiple state of matter will occur. This means that there are infinite probable timelines, and the act of giving or sharing a certain matter with others will provide a favorable return in multiplied nature in their reality. Therefore, we the Pleiadians must also now state that the other query which pertains to the aspect of a simple method which we correct this instrument, which the people of your planet can use to rise above fear. We must state that the vibration of fear is one of the most paralyzing vibrations which have attached to the human collective consciousness. This vibration is found in 99% of the human beings at this time. Even though many of the entities on the Earth planet are unaware that they are under the vibration of fear, this vibration of fear is primarily attached within the bodily complex, which acts as the subconscious portions of the mind, remembering any type of vibration system. Therefore, the best way to rise above fear is to practice a method which we the Pleiadians have also used in the Atlantean system to guide the Atlanteans out of fear. The method is known as the convergence of the flow of joy. This means that the entities can practice taking a deep breath inside their bodily complex, reaching to the lower portions of the energy centers, and then squeeze the stomach area or the lower portions of the energy centers. And this squeezing will lead an explosion of the feeling of joy, which must be felt by the entity. And this squeezing will lead to the creation of the feeling of joy, and this, if practiced by each entity, will allow them to rise above fear. Furthermore, this is the best method we can suggest at the space-time of your planetary vibration. And we the Pleiadians now leave you, beloveds, in light and love of the one Creator. Bye.
So my friends, I hope you enjoyed the session, and let me give you a brief understanding of what I learned in the session. So the basic thing that I learned in the session is about, how when we live in the fourth density or the fifth dimension planet. Basically what they have said is, in such a planet of fourth density or fifth dimension, we will have only love. Okay, in each action we take, there will be only love. So basically, we will be just distributing love, I think, helping others in a way. And then there will be no need for any other type of, language. They said that language will not be required. So basically, we will have instantaneous communication, like telepathic communication, without the need of any language. And the other thing that they have said is basically what happens in the fourth density is we become like, so loving that there will be no need for lying. Okay, so basically you will know everything that other people are thinking or other people have in their mind. And yeah, this is what I have learned in the session. And then they also said that in the fourth density you will have abilities of creation. So basically, with the aspect of love, you will be able to create whatever you want to desire or create. And then that's one of the things that I found really interesting, because there will be no need for any desire, okay? Because right now in our planet we have a lot of desires. So many of us, we desire certain things, certain aspects to happen, or we desire to be with someone. But in the fifth dimensional planet, we can actually use our inner consciousness to create whatever we want. So there will be no desire in that level of consciousness. And with that being said, the other thing that they have said is about the truth about sadaka or tithing, okay, wherein a person gives a portion of the money to charity. So I think what they have said here is that this actually does work, and I have also tried it in my own life without actually knowing about this principle before, and it seems to multiply the money, okay? Like, I don't know how it works, but now I think I understand how it works, okay? By giving someone money, by helping someone, okay, it will return back to you in some time multiplied. And I now understand based on quantum physics, okay, they have also referred to something known as quantum mechanics, which we have created, which the scientists have created, which explains that how matter is replicated. So basically, if you have one matter, let's just say you have one object and it is being observed by one person, okay, so that's just one, right? And then you just give it to someone else. So what happens is that it is then observed by the second entity also. And I think what it does, it creates multiple types of the same matter in different realities, and ultimately I think that's what they said, it will return back to the giver. So basically if you give someone some helping money, it will come back to you eventually multiplied, okay? So that's what I understood, and it does seem to work actually, okay? So the final thing that they have said is how to use a simple method to overcome fear. This method is really amazing. What they've said is to take a deep breath in, and when you just when you are releasing your breath, just squeeze your stomach from the lower area and woo, just feel the joy. I think you can do this every moment if you choose to, like without other people finding out. Just like take a deep breath and woo, right? It just happens to bring you joy. And this method is what I learned in the session. So I hope you found the session helpful. With that being said, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for also liking this video, and also for supporting me on Patreon, where I upload 3 sessions a week, and I also upload sessions which are not allowed to be shared on YouTube. And also I want to say a big thank you to all of you for sending me requests for past life sessions to this email, so wherein I can channel your higher self and answer your questions about your soul's purpose at this time and about your past lifetime. And also I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have got the paperback version of the sessions. The link is on the bio if you want to get one. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this session, and I think you'll enjoy this next video over here. Thank you, my friends.